this is Beanie Feldstein. How are you?
I'm good, Beanie. How are you? Thank you so much for
Uh,
calling today.
oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, first of all, let me just begin
Oh,
by saying that when I'm from Toronto, so when I saw Lady Bird in Toronto at the screening, one of the press screenings, I'm watching and I'm
yeah.
going, yeah, this is going to be a good movie. I like Greta Gerwig, I like Saoirse Ronan, and then all of a sudden, I see you on screen, and I go, and I actually tweeted right after the movie, which you acknowledged, by the way. Um, what a revelation you were. I mean, you were so
Oh,
outstanding. So I just want to congratulate you for your performance in that because you really did such a marvelous job. Um,
that
s-
is so kind.
uh,
Thank you.
well, that's just my whole preface
Oh.
to the interview. But let's go back a little bit because we'll get to Lady Bird in a few seconds. But when did you know that you wanted to be a performer?
Well, I think I've always known. When I was 4 years old, I was taking a ballet, like a toddler ballet class in this little center called Creative Kids in LA that has all sorts of classes for kids. And they said, we're doing a musical. It's like once a week. If anyone wants to join, we do The Sound of Music. And my mom was like, why don't we go see one of the other musicals that they've done to see if that's something you'd want me to sign you up for. And I was like, okay. And the second it started, I was like, I want to do that. I became obsessed. So my mom signed me up, and it took off for the races. I did the kids theater, and then I started doing community theater, a tiny bit of professional theater as a kid, and then obviously tons of school theater, and I went to theater camp. So it was instant.
Yeah, yeah. And then after you graduated from it was college. It was I don't know, 6 weeks, and then you landed a job on Neighbors 2. That's amazing. How'd that come about?
It was not to be believed. I was actually babysitting when I got the call, because I was nannying and babysitting. That was my plan to do while I was auditioning. Um, and I got the call, and I just put this adorable 1-year-old to sleep. And I was like, hello? Like whispering on the phone. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I'm babysitting, and I'm right outside her door. What's going on? And they're like, you got neighbor too. But, I knew they were doing a sequel, and I knew it was going to be about girls. And my manager was like, we can get you the sides for a self-tape,
Yeah.
or you could fly out to LA if you wanted to audition in person, because they're not doing auditions in New York. And I was like, I really thought about it, and a tape for that type of film, which is so relaxed and improv based and on the fly as far as pitching jokes, I knew that a tape would feel so static and sort of fixed that I had to, if I was going to get it, I had to put myself out there and fly. So I flew out and I auditioned. And at that point, that character wasn't in the script. So I got this call, and they were like, you're going to play Nora, and she's being written in. And so
Yeah.
I had no idea really how much I would be in. And then they flew me out for the table read. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dream come true, your life, I think.
I'm
So far.
grateful isn't a good enough word. Truly, I've been trying to think of. I need to expand my vocabulary, because I specifically at this moment with Dolly and Ladybird
Yeah.
coming out, it's felt very overwhelming, and just like I could cry at any minute, because I'm just so grateful for what's
Yeah.
been going on.
No,
It's
good
just
for
not to
you.
be believed.
Yeah, good for you. You're doing it all on your own, which is amazing. And with Lady Bird, it's such a special movie. It really is, and it's for me, it was hard to describe it. How would you put it into words?
I agree, because I think it's so much. There's so much good. It's sort of hard to zero in on one thing, but the way I describe it is a love letter to home.
Hmm.
It's this girl who is so full of life and so charismatic and wants so much, and she can't understand home until she leaves it. And it's about her relationship with herself and finding her identity, and her relationship with her mother
Yeah.
and her best friend, and just discovering what she wants out of life, and
Right.
sort of coming to the realization that her home really gave her so much.
Yeah, there's some, there's some heartbreaking scenes, and there's some great stuff between you and Saoirse, and how badly, well, how great the two of you are friendly, on screen and everything, and then what happens, I don't want to give too much away,
Sure.
but it's so heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, I mean, Saoirse Ronan, I have had the privilege of interviewing her ever since she was such a little girl, and for almost every single film she's been in, and she's just grown into such a lovely young woman, and I wanted to know what your bonding was it immediate? Because I can't imagine her not being friendly with anybody,
Right? I know. We actually just left each other. We were doing some press together, and it's just, she is the most delicious human being on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. I mean, obviously her talent is boundless, and she's a genius in her work.
Yeah.
But she's even more extraordinary in how wonderful and warm and smart and caring she is as a person. And I think you're completely right. It's so she's so instantly lovable. But I think what we share is we're both very warm people, and we're both people. We both are people that really enjoy and each other's company and the company of other people that we meet. And so because we're both so warm and affectionate, we were like, hi, oh my, we just were so excited.
Yeah.
And then there were certain sort of like crazy things, like we showed up to the first day of rehearsal in LA with the exact same nail polish on.
Okay, that's
sort of like little freakish things where we were like, what's going on here? Like it just sort of was so natural. And so Julie and Ladybird wear that color throughout the film.
Yeah.
So we're like, we have to put that in.
That's great.
Even when they're, I don't want to give too much away, but there are moments where they're not together and they're still wearing the purple nail polish.
Because it bonds them. Yes, it's a bond.
She's just, one of the most exceptional people I've ever known, and I feel so lucky to have learned from her in working with her. I just feel like she's the most exceptional actress of our age, and I can't believe that I got to work so closely with her. And then on a personal level, as Beanie, separate from acting, I feel like what a privilege to be her friend, and what an honor it is to, be included in her family.
No, it's
the way that
you guys
choose your family in your 20s,
Yeah, no, for sure. And you guys have you really do have a wonderful connection on screen. Let's talk a little bit about Greta Gerwig, because again, here's someone who, she's an actress, she's a writer, she's, and then finally to do this as her directorial debut. I mean, wow, there's a lot of buzz that she's going to get an Oscar nomination, and I won't doubt that if she does. Tell me, what do you learn from somebody like her?
Everything. Greta is exceptionally gifted. I think that anyone that is lucky to know her as a person instantly sees that she sees the world through very unique eyes, and she's ridiculously bright. One of the smartest humans I've ever been around.
Yeah.
And also is incredibly warm and heartfelt and so sincere. And I think the combination of her exceptional brain and her exceptional heart just creates this story with such specificity and warmth and care for her characters and care for her actors and her crew. I learned everything. I can't believe I get to know her. It's sort of like surreal to me, because I grew up just loving her so much, especially during my college years when Frances Ha came out. It was like huge for me and my girlfriends, and now to cherish her as a friend, and I worship her. I love her so much. She's, the other day she was like, if you ever want to talk about like that, we were talking about something, and she was like, you could always call me. And I was like, I know. Oh my God.
That's so nice. It's really, it's great to see that you're, the start for your career is just, you're working with such humble but real people, not the BS.
Yes, absolutely. And to just sort of at this early on in my work, to get to be surrounded by two of the most exceptional women I've ever met, and to get to learn from them, at 23 when we filmed, it was just like, how am I so lucky? Like,
Yeah,
this
no,
is,
well, but you're not just
it
lucky,
felt,
you're talented, don't
oh,
push that
thank
aside.
you.
I mean, but also, the rest of this cast too. I mean, Lucas Hedges. I mean, really, it's such a
Oh,
right from the bottom up to the top. It's everybody's so great in it, you know?
absolutely. Those
Yeah.
two boys are so exceptional. I've loved what they did so much in the movie, and then obviously in the other projects that the world is starting to get to know them
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
And specifically with Lucas, we had so much stuff together in the film, and he feels like a little brother to me. Like, when we were filming, he was staying in a hotel, but I was staying in my childhood home because
Yeah.
I'm from LA where we
Right.
were shooting. And I was like, Lukey, come over. So he spent like so many sleepovers at my house, and he's become such close friends with my friends just because he
That's
really sort of folded into my family. We joke that he's like a Feldstein now.
That's
Um,
amazing. That's amazing. You've adopted him, which is great. Now, I mean,
totally.
I could talk to you for hours. I know we have a limited amount of time, but I have to tell you, I am a Broadway babe ever since I was a little girl.
Oh yeah, me
Broadway was
too.
my thing. I mean, yes, I know, and so I'm so excited because a good friend of mine actually saw Hello Dolly last week and was raving about that she got tickets and all this, and I'm so jealous because I've got to get to New York and see you in this. But okay, seriously, like. I can't even tell you how jealous I am that you're on stage with freaking Bette Midler. Like, come on! Oh my God, that's
It's
amazing.
not to be believed. And I have to tell you, like, it's very sweet of you to say, like, it's your talent. It is talent, but in this industry, it's also people believing in you.
Yeah,
And Scott Rudin and Eli Bush produced Ladybird, and we're watching, us film, and we're like, she should audition for our Dolly. She should audition for our production because they hadn't found him any say.
yeah, you're
And
perfect. Yeah, yeah.
it's completely their they are the gatekeepers, and they opened a gate for me, and they were like, Beanie, please. And I was like, what? Um, I get very verklempt when I talk about them because
Yeah.
they altered the course of my life, not once, but twice within a year.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
and I owe this year and this moment to Scott and Eli, truly.
Yeah. Wow. I just wow. Unbelievable. And it's funny too because last fall what was it? Oh gosh, when did I don't remember when it was. It was about almost a year ago, and I was in New York and had a free night, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna just see if I can get a ticket for Evan Hansen. Yeah, right, okay. Anyway, so of course I go to the box office, and don't you know that there's a third row orchestra seat that just came available when I got to the window, and I'm like, yeah, I'm taking the ticket, right? And I did, and I whatever, and I. The funny thing about Ben is that I went to Camp Rama. I'm a lot older than you, but so
Oh my God,
I had
yes.
Camp Rama connection and all that, and so I'm tweeting like I'm here, Ben, I'm here, I'm a Camp Rama alumni, blah 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 blah. Then they're tweeting back to me, and I'm sitting in the audience, and I'm like thinking I'm like so special, whatever. But anyway, watch that show. This is before he was even like nominated for whatever, right? And I'm just
Right.
completely blown away. I mean, it's on my soundtrack. I listen to it over and over on my phone, and then after the show. I started to look up his tweets and his pictures and his Instagrams and stuff, and I'm like, seeing pictures of you. And I'm like, who's this girl? Who's this Beanie Feldstein? And then that's how I started to get to know who you were. And then
Oh wow.
but it just amazes me that now the two of you, well, I know he's leaving soon, but that you're on Broadway together, you're best friends. I mean, you guys do everything together. And he's such a wonderful guy too. I mean, like,
Oh, he's the best.
yeah,
I mean, Ben and I, we call each other soulmates. It's like
yeah,
as if we were twins, but we have different moms, although they love each other so much and,
yeah,
feel like family. But yeah, it was sort of that instant thing of like the way that Julie and Ladybird sort of live in their own world. Like,
yeah, yeah.
they sort of talk with a sense of no one else around them. That's Ben and I a lot of the time. Although we do have an extraordinary group of friends. All of us from high school that are so close, but Ben and I, we very much feel like soulmates. And I remember at the Tonys, which was one of the best nights of my life,
I
and
can
I got to be
imagine.
there
Yeah,
with my cast, and I was seated with Kate Baldwin, who I play her assistant in the show, and just for like the fact that she wanted me with her was just like so emotional for me. And then Ben was across the aisle,
yeah,
and it was just like, this is, we couldn't have dreamt this. We
right.
wouldn't have been able to dream this. And the moment that really stuck out to me was like, you think your best friend is the best because you love him so much,
Sure.
but the Tonys was like everyone was seeing him the way that I see him.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like we all had the same best friend glasses on, and it's just because of how extraordinarily talented he is. But it was this crazy moment of like the whole world sees him
Yeah.
the way I see him. You know, not only do I think my best friend is the best, but he is.
Yeah.
You know?
No, he is an extraordinary young man. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that eight shows a week, and the emotion that he
I
brought to
know.
it every time. I mean, I just think about that show and I well up. It's so fantastic. And holy mackerel,
Totally.
like wow. Well, you know, good on you. And then again, like I had no idea, to be honest with you, because I don't dive into celebrity gossip and all that crap, but Jonah Hill is your brother. I had no idea until I started doing some reading about you, and I'm like, wow, you know, and I just wanted to know. Again, I've been doing this a long time, and I've interviewed Jonah like since he was coming up from young, and you know
Yeah.
whatever. And I just want to know what the best piece of advice he gave you once he started to see where you were going, or you know, did you ever go to him and ask him like for any advice?
I feel like I have, and the best piece of career advice he's ever given me was to not be surprised when things were cut out of film.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Because when he's done so many films that are in the same world as Neighbors too,
Right.
and he was like, you guys are going to film so much material, and the movie would be 10 hours long if they kept it all in, and no one wants to see a 10-hour comedy, so they're going to cut so much, and it's still going to be brilliantly funny. And he told me that while we were filming, so when I saw it, I wasn't at all shocked or surprised. So I always see that as like the best career advice.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
but
no,
with this movie, I remember I was so devastated when we wrapped because it felt like the end of summer camp when you
Right.
have to leave, and it was like, you know, I would just get in the car with my parents at the end of summer camp and hysterically cry. And my last day, Ladybird, I was just a puddle. I was like, this is nothing is going to be as special, and nothing, you know, going to feel the same. And he was like, things will and they won't. But this is the first one of that feels like that to you,
Yeah.
and that is nothing but a gift. And there will be more, and they won't be the same. But just think about how lucky you are that you've had a work project that feels as special as you know, being with your friends or being with your
Amazing.
family. That feels as close to your heart as that.
That's great.
So that was great advice.
I suspect you
too,
guys are
I
pretty
think.
close.
Oh yeah, we're like obsessed with each other.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really, really awesome. So I don't even know if you can top these last couple of years, but what else do you want to do? Like, is there, you know, TV? I don't know. I don't even know how you can top it.
I don't know, because I would never have anticipated ever in my life that I was ever going to do film. And I had hoped for Broadway, but never really anticipated it. Or I always joked that, like, I would be in the 57th revival of Gypsy as Mama Rose. Like, I always was like, I'll be an old broad on Broadway, but I don't know if I'll make it as, you know, in my formative years. And so I just don't know. I can't really, like, I sort of love just leaving it up to like a great script and a great project and a great director.
Yeah.
And not really, you know, sort of seeing what's next, because I could have never anticipated this for myself.
Right.
So I'm sort of open.
Yeah, well, listen, you're young. You got a huge career ahead of you, and you know, I just have to tell you that I'm part of the Broadcast Film Critics Association, and I can tell you right now that I'm putting you down for a nomination for supporting actress for Ladybird. You were just so outstanding. I really, fingers crossed that I'll get to meet you in person in January when I come out there. But it's and I just
I would be honored.
Can't be more happy for a nice Jewish girl like you to be doing what you're doing. You know, we got to stick together, girlfriend. No, but no, honest, it's, you know, really all the best to you. And when are you back?
So nice talking to you.
You too. When are you back on Broadway again? I guess you're taking some time for press now. Or?
Tonight.
Oh, you're back. Okay, good stuff. So I didn't know. I thought you were taking a little time off. Oh, okay. Well, go rest up your voice and all that. Okay. And best of luck to you, my dear. And again, I hope to. I'll come up to you if I see you in person for sure. Okay.
Oh, I'd love it.
Thanks. Great. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.